Hey guys, it's Timmy, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited, as we are here with a Smackdown live review on April 9th, 2019. I don't know why I couldn't think of the date there for some reason, or at least the year. April 9th, 2019. It's the final show of WrestleMania weekend. I guess you can call it WrestleMania weekend or WrestleMania three-quarter week. Because it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Actually, 99% week. Because tomorrow would have been 7 days. But it's the last, I'll just say it. It's the last show of WrestleMania week. A lot of shows took place this week. Some better than others. And George John Cox, yes, we will be taking calls following the SmackDown review. Sorry we didn't take calls last night. I had some stuff going on. But it's all good. It's all good. Excuse me. I'm just looking at the live chat before we get going. Yeah, we got George John Cox, Ruben Rodriguez, Keegan Watson, Derek Bocek. We've got Luke Might, Woken King Slender, Beastie Boy, DJ McDaniel. What's going on, everybody? What did you guys think of tonight's SmackDown Live? I thought it was a pretty decent show. Maybe a little better than decent. I wouldn't call it great by any means. I mean, we got some weird stuff. A repeat from Raw with Becky Lynch. And let's just jump right in. The show starts off with Kofi Kingston and the New Day coming down for a WWE Championship celebration. They come down to the ring. Kofi Kingston's family's at ringside, and the fans love Kofi. Gave him a huge reaction. The fans erupted in a huge Kofi chant. There were also some Kofi Mania signs scattered throughout the building. Big E called Kofi the A-plus player, and the fans broke out in an A-plus chant. He pointed out that they showed up on Raw to make history. Xavier Woods asked if it was when he did the splits. That was crazy. Big E doing them splits. Fans chanted one more time. And Big E did the splits again to a huge reaction. Because you wouldn't think a man his size can do the splits so easily. So going forward, Big E noted that Kingston almost made history by becoming a double champion, a champ. Last night, like Becky Lynch, fans broke out in a Becky chant. He liked being on Raw, but nothing compares to the blue brand. They're going to celebrate the career of Kofi Kingston. Woods talked about the first time that he met Kofi. It felt like he met his hero. Woods congratulated Kofi and told him that he loved him. Fans then broke out again in another Kofi chant. Kingston noted that this wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't in the script from the WWE side of him to be WWE champion. He pointed at his family at ringside, said that they're the ones that inspire me to be the best possible father and husband a man can be. He thanked them for supporting him through everything. The Bar then come down and interrupted, just like they interrupted last night on Raw. Fans hated them, which is great. They're the heels, and they should be getting that super heel reaction. They took credit for Kingston being the champion, which I don't know why. Oh, wait, no. They took credit for Kingston being the champion because they said if it wasn't for them interrupting the match last night, Seth would have beat Kofi and had both titles. Then they challenged the New Day to a 6-man tag team match, and Big E goes, 6? Your math may be a little off. You forget to carry the 1. 5? And they go, it'll be you guys against us and a man we met last night when we came to Raw. And the music of a Drew McIntyre played, and oh boy, did I get excited. Drew McIntyre and the Bar together, that's a Haas team if you ever seen one. Great. That's a great international stable. Don't tell me New League of Nations. So, New Day accepted. Match was made official. We then got Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Ali teaming up together to take on the team of Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, and Andrade. The heel team isolated Ricochet on their side to gain control early. Ricochet hit a neck breaker, and the faces took over. Black nailed Rusev with a knee, and Ricochet caught him with a drop kick. The heels rolled to the floor. Black teased a dive, but instead did a backflip, and then cross-legged pose in the ring with Ricochet and Ali. After commercial break, Rusev slowed down the pace with a bear hug on Ali. Ali fought back and hit a tornado DDT. Black got the hot tag and ran wild. He hit a moonsault on Andrade, but Nakamura and Rusev broke up a pin attempt. Ricochet then hit a moonsault to the floor off the barricade onto Rusev. Back in the ring, Zelina Vega distracted Black, and Andrade rolled him up for a near fall. The finish then came when Ali hit his reverse Hurricane Rana, and then Andrade, and then hit the 054 for the victory. After the match, Ali was in the ring looking like he wanted to celebrate, but then he was hit out of nowhere with an RKO. But then, out of nowhere, Kevin Owens appears and hits a stunner on Rusev. What the heck was that all about? So in the back, Kayla Braxton interviewed the Usos, and no, that's not Dasha Fuentes. So Pro Wrestling Sheet reported today that Dasha Fuentes has been released by the WWE. I put the report out on our website, tweeted it and whatnot, and got a lot of, wait, didn't I just see her on SmackDown? No. Dasha Fuentes is not Kayla Braxton. Who we saw tonight on SmackDown was Kayla Braxton. So the Usos congratulated Kofi for winning the WWE Championship. They said that they have to win tonight, and they promised to defeat the Hardy Boys as they will be defending their titles later on in the night. R-Truth and Carmella then came down to the ring. Truth mentioned that Becky is the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. Carmella pointed out that Kofi is the new WWE Champion. Truth then said, Carmella, congratulations on defeating Andre the Giant last night in the Royal Rumble. And she goes, no, I win the Women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. And Truth goes, isn't that what I said? Carmella then pointed out that 1 year ago, on this very show, she had cashed in her Money in the Bank and won the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. She says since then, she's lost that belt. But she's learned from Truth that sometimes you just got to let go and have fun. And now that she's able to do so, she can work her way back up. This then brought out Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe came out and brawled with Truth for a little bit before putting Truth in the Coquina Clutch. Joe then grabbed a mic and bragged about defeating Rey Mysterio in record time at WrestleMania. He then promised to defeat any superstar that came his way. And out came Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman came out to a huge reaction from the crowd. He and Joe brawled, and this was actually pretty good. Joe did eventually climb up the ropes to lock in a Coquina Clutch because, you know, Strowman's that much taller. But Strowman fought back. Strowman picked up Joe for a power slam, but Joe slipped out and escaped out of the ring. Teased something that could be great that we may not get. Unless one of these men move next week in the shakeup, it was more than a tease of nothing. Strowman then posed on the stage, and then out came the IKonics, the Women Tag Team Champions. So their music hits as Strowman's posing, and he kind of gets this look on his face like, someone's trying to steal my moment? So they walk out, and they both put their hands out for a handshake. And he looks at him like, who the hell are you? And they're like, no? Okay. And he walks off, and they walk into the ring. We then learn that after the commercial break, they will be defending their SmackDown or their Women's Tag Team titles because they're fighting champions. So after commercial break, the IKonics state that they will be taking on 45-0 undefeated tag team, the Brooklyn Bells. They promised that they were going to be fighting champions and they were going to give anybody that wanted it an opportunity. This was a very, very quick match where they did successfully defend their titles. We did see mid-match that Paige was watching backstage. On commentary, Corey Graves kept getting the Bells' names wrong, mixing up who was who. Then after the match in the back, we see Paige again, and Kayla goes, Paige, great to see you on SmackDown. How's it been? And she mocked the IKonics and then stated, you know, I was watching that match, and next week, I'm bringing a tag team to SmackDown. Didn't say who, didn't say if it was a new team, maybe from NXT or somebody new coming into from Raw. We don't know. I don't think it's going to be a lot of people are Mandy and Sonya, Fire Desire. I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think it's going to be somebody or a team that's not currently on SmackDown. So either a call-up from NXT or two women moving over from Raw that either are already a tag team, which Nia and Tamina maybe, because, Paige is really good friends with Nia, or they're going to put two women together that we don't know about. And the Nia Tamina thing might actually be good because Nia and Tamina Nia's meh on the mic, but as Paige is their mouthpiece, okay. I don't want to see them getting another shot at the tag titles, but it would work and help them. I see a lot of people in the chat giving suggestions. Dakota Kai, no. I see Nelson says, how about Candice LeRae and Dakota Kai? No. Dakota Kai's still injured. AJ Rollins says Sane and LeRae. I mean, maybe their names have been brought up about coming to the main roster. I don't know if they want to put them together as a tag team because then you screw the Sky Pirates of never being a team to challenge for the titles. So I doubt they put Candice and Dakota together. Could it be? Or Candice and Kyrie? Could it be Kyrie and Io? Maybe. Maybe it could be Kyrie and Io coming to the main roster, and because they can't speak that great of English, Paige is going to be their mouthpiece. That could be something that we do see. I don't know if that's going to happen, if they're the ones, but I mean, I wouldn't be against it. It would actually be a good idea. Bring them to the main roster as a tag team, and then Paige can be their mouthpiece. Let's see it. Let's do it. I like that idea. So going forward, a horrendous segment with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon came down to the ring. Best in the World trophy was in the middle of the ring already. He appeared to have a black eye. I don't know why I read that as appreciated. McMahon then pointed out next week is the Superstar Shakeup. McMahon then talked about his big win at WrestleMania and having so many WrestleMania moments. He claimed that everyone watched WrestleMania just to see him defeat The Miz. He said The Miz isn't here tonight because he's tending to his father. McMahon then noted that Mr. Miz came in the ring and he punched him. He claimed that the black eye was a result of it. He bragged about attacking him and beating The Miz. He claimed himself that he's the best in the world, and the fans chanted CM Punk. McMahon brought announcer Greg Hamilton into the ring and said, Greg, how come when I came out you were like, Shane McMahon, best in the world? You were a little hesitant to call me that. And Greg Hamilton stated that when he came to the building today, fans stopped him outside and threatened him. Yeah, death threats, or threats to beat him up if he called Shane best in the world. So what did Shane do? Shane basically humiliated him. Shane pulled him by his tie and dragged him out of the ring and was like, you're going to call me best in the world the way I want to hear it. Brought him up to the top of the stage, and he had him do it over and over and over until it was to, quote-unquote, Shane's liking. And I didn't like this at all. This was just dumb, stupid. So then we got another tag team title match. The Smackdown Live tag team title match is the Usos defended against the Hardy Boys. Early in the match, the Usos sent Matt to the floor and whipped him into the barricade. They isolated Matt on their side of the ring. Back from a commercial break, Jeff was firmly in control, but Jay fought back. Jimmy missed a whisper in the wind, and Jeff hit his own for a near fall. Hardy's then hit Poetry in Motion, and Matt hit a side effect for a 2. Matt then went for the Twist of Fate, but Jimmy countered it with a super kick. Jay hit a huge splash on Jeff for a near fall. The Usos would then go for a double splash, which they would miss. Matt hit the Twist of Fate on Jimmy. Jeff hit the Swanton and pinned him 1, 2, 3. New SmackDown Live Tag Team Champions. But then after the match, Kayla gets in the ring. She goes, Matt and Jeff, what is... And the music hits, and we're like, sounds familiar. Oh, that's because we heard this last night with Lars Sullivan. So Lars came out, and the Hardys tried to fight him off, but he fought them off instead. He then gave Jeff a freak accident, gave Matt a modified twisting World's Strongest Slam, and then hit Matt with a diving headbutt. Yeah. So they win the tag titles, and then they get made to look like goobs getting beat down afterwards. So next up, Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch came out to do almost the exact same segment she did last night. The only difference was that she talked about what happened last night with Lacey Evans, and this time Lacey Evans basically laid her out. Lacey Evans punched her after the segment when Becky was unexpecting. Becky fell to the floor for a minute. Lacey put her hat back on and walked off. Like, it was almost the same segment that we saw last night, except for Lacey was made to look better than she was on Raw. That was it. Like, really? Not even worth recapping. So then we got the main event. It was the New Day taking on the Bar and Drew McIntyre. Now, I don't know what happened with Drew McIntyre. With the match, first before the match, Sami Zayn comes out. He comes on the ramp. He's got a mic and he goes, "Never mind, you guys aren't worth it," and walks off. I loved it. It was great. So New Day had the early advantage on Sheamus. Cesaro attacked Xavier Woods from behind. The referee's back. McIntyre then dropped Woods face first with his reverse Alabama slam on the announce table. And then they go to commercial. Come back from commercial, and Drew McIntyre's nowhere to be seen. Apparently, all we know, we don't know what happened. All we do know is that McIntyre was helped to the back. He did not walk up the ramp. He actually was helped along the side of the stage to the back, and it was done in a quick way. We don't know what happened. I'm not going to elaborate any further because I don't know. We'll try to figure out and see what happened to Drew McIntyre. But as far as the rest of the match goes, after the commercial, it went pretty quickly. Big E got a hot tag, caught Cesaro with a suplex. Big E went for the spear, but got caught with a knee. Sheamus then made the blind tag. He set up for a brogue kick, but Big E rocked him with a clothesline. Kingston then hit a splash on Sheamus that followed it up with a dive on Cesaro. Kingston went for the Trouble in Paradise, but Sheamus caught him. Kingston fought back and hit the Trouble in Paradise again for the victory. After the match, Kofi and the New Day celebrated with Kofi's family in the ring. And that was it. Now, we go next week to Raw and SmackDown in Montreal, Superstar Shakeup. And with that, that was SmackDown Live. And now, I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you guys thought of tonight's SmackDown. I want to hear what you guys thought of last night's Raw. Let me know either by calling in or texting in. 559-475-8473. You can text in your questions to 510-906-1341. Let's see if we've got calls coming in yet, if Skype wants to actually respond. And, oops, I closed the live chat. Let's get back to YouTube here. Again, if you do want to call in, 559-475-8473. Text to 510-906-1341. All right, we got the live chat back up. I don't know what happened there. It just closed on me. Looking at the chat. Yeah, some of you guys just asked about Drew McIntyre. We don't know what happened with McIntyre. I'm not going to say he got hurt because I don't know if he got hurt. I'm not going to say that that was the plan for him to disappear after the commercial because I don't know if that was the plan. All we know is for some reason during the commercial, he went to the back, was helped to the back, and they did it in like a quick way, but he didn't go up the ramp. So that was very odd. And if we do hear anything else on Drew McIntyre, we will try to find out. Hopefully he wasn't hurt. Hopefully he wasn't injured. Because last I heard, he may be the first challenger to Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. And if that's the case, if he, something did happen that's going to prevent that, that's horrible. But again, if you do want to call in, 559-475-8473. Eric Tate says, "Hey Tim, did Brian take time off?" Not that I heard of. Brian was not on the show tonight, but he doesn't need to be every week. Roman Reigns wasn't on the show last night, and it was fine. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey Tim, what's going on?
Not much. How's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. Going pretty good. So I want to get your opinion on this. This is kind of random, but do you think that the Revival could potentially go to SmackDown in Superstar Shakeup?
If they don't move the Usos, yes, I think the Revival and the Usos need to be on the same brand because that could be an amazing feud.
Yeah, because and I'm not just saying like they're both champions,
Neither
2
are
days ago, but
champions.
I'm saying they were 2 days ago. But the Usos and the Rival are my two favorite, like just tag teams.
Right.
Besides the Young Bucks, in the WWE, those are my two favorite. But hey, also I want to get your opinion on my little thing that I created with Kofi. Do you think that? Maybe like the New Day shouldn't break up, but maybe Kofi says, hey boys, I got this, and he goes back to his old theme song and logo and stuff. That's what I feel like he should do because I feel like the whole New Day thing as him being the champions is kind of weird to me.
I like that the New Day are still together because you've still got the dynamic of they can do things as far as 6-man tags or say maybe just throwing out a hunch here. Drew McIntyre does get moved to SmackDown. He's got the Bar as his henchman, so Kofi has the rest of New Day as his backup in case the Bar tries to get involved in this and that. So I like that factor. Plus, New Day makes way too much money on merch. Why break that up? And now that Kofi's the champion, they're going to sell even more T-shirts.
Yeah. And do you think that McIntyre or one of the members of the Bar will be the next challenger?
I wouldn't mind seeing maybe Cesaro. I know advertising does say a show that McIntyre should be challenging Seth Rollins for Raw, but I mean advertising can always be changed. I wouldn't mind seeing McIntyre as the challenger. I mean, here's my thinking of this. Maybe because McIntyre lost to Roman at Mania. If Roman's staying on Raw, then you move McIntyre over to SmackDown, kind of refresh him. You forget that he lost to Roman at Mania, and boom, there's your top heel on SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, me personally, I would really love to see a Kofi versus Cesaro match for the championship. I feel like that could be a really good match.
That wouldn't be bad, but again, the Bar, they're kind of too much, Cesaro and Sheamus, you just think of them as tag team guys. I know that's what you thought of the New Day, but at least there were 3 guys where one can branch off. But with the Bar, it's like they're just 2 guys that are a tag team. If you add McIntyre to them, then that makes them a cool 3-man unit.
Yeah, it's just crazy because I think when I always thought of the New Day, I always thought that Big E would be the one to branch off, but but
right.
Thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem. Thanks for the call and have a great night. All right, moving forward, just take another call here. Again, if you want to call in, 559-475-8473. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, I appreciate you taking my call.
Thank you for calling. What's going on?
With the upcoming Superstar Shakeup, where do you see these recent NXT call-ups landing?
So I've been thinking a lot about that, and tomorrow's podcast that's gonna be the main focus is the Superstar Shakeup. But I mean, if you look at, so you're talking about the guys that have come up since January, the 6th then, and then Black and Ricochet.
Yeah.
Now, I've been going back and forth in my head on a lot of this, and if you were just to look at some of it, I think Heavy Machinery, maybe you keep them on Raw. Lacey Evans can be on whatever brand that they're going to permanently put Becky on, since they're doing that little feud there. EC3, I wouldn't mind seeing him be placed on SmackDown. And Lars, he would fit well on Raw. And then Black and Ricochet, I'm not sure about them. I just hope that once the Superstar Shakeup does come, they're not a tag team anymore. I want to see those guys as singles guys.
And also with the Hardy Boys recently winning the SmackDown Live tag titles, do you see them remaining on SmackDown?
Yes.
With the impending shakeup?
I can see them remaining on SmackDown and the Usos possibly moving over to Raw, since the Usos have been on SmackDown since the brand split first started in 2016. So maybe it's that time you finally move the Usos over to Raw.
And Does the WWE have any plans with Kurt Angle after his after his retirement?
No, Kurt Angle's retired. He's not going to wrestle anymore. I don't know if they want to make him an on-screen character or something, but WrestleMania was his last match.
Anyways, I appreciate you taking my call.
I appreciate you calling. Have a great night. All right, let's just roll through. You guys want to call? Keep going. And caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
How's it going?
It's good. It's going good. Obviously, so a lot of wrestling that happened over the weekend. I wanted to get your opinion just on a few stuff here. Now, out of all the wrestling that happened over the weekend, what would you say was your favorite match? Like out of all the events.
Favorite match overall.
Yeah.
It would probably be, I would maybe say Gargano versus Adam Cole with Matt Riddle and Velveteen Dream right there as a super close second.
Okay. Because I would say Gargano versus Adam Cole, and then this would be my top three: Cole and Gargano, and then I would say Kofi Kingston versus Daniel Bryan, and then my third will be Okada versus Jay White. I think that was a really good match for G1.
Yeah, it was a really good match. Probably the best match of that show.
Yeah, no doubt. But I had a question about the Superstar Shakeup. Now, obviously the IKonics, they got they have the tag titles, and well deserved. I think it was well deserved that they won. Now, who do you think Paige is like bringing along? Like, what do you think? Well,
I mean, I don't know, but I predicted earlier when we were talking about that segment that maybe it can be the Sky Pirates, Kairi Sane and Io Shirai, for the fact that they can speak a little English, but their English isn't that great. Vince doesn't like letting people that don't speak English speak a lot, so maybe pairing them with Paige and having Paige as their manager could be the way they go. So I don't know who Paige's new tag team's going to be, but I would not be surprised if maybe it is Io Shirai and Kairi Sane. And with that being said, maybe the only reasons the IKonics won the titles at WrestleMania are to be transitional champions to lose them to whoever Paige is bringing next week on SmackDown.
I do think I would like to see the Iconics just hold it for maybe another month or two, just for maybe another month or two, just because how long they've been a team. They're not like two people that just put together. So I would like to see them hold the titles for a little bit longer. But I would say my last question is, what do you think of Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins winning the tag titles at WrestleMania? Do you think they deserve the Raw Tag Team Championships? Or
I don't like using the word they deserved to win the titles, because it's like, I don't know if anybody quote unquote deserves. It's whoever is getting, like, if they had gotten themselves over, that would have been one thing. But this was just a random out of nowhere thing. So it's not like with Becky and Kofi, who they got themselves over with the crowd. So yeah, give them the titles. They earned that by making themselves something that the fans wanted to see. With Hawkins and Ryder, it's like, oh, give them the titles because they've been around for a long time. I don't like throwing that word deserved around just sporadically like that. Not to be rude or anything, but it's just like, you can't say, oh, do they deserve it when, where have they been?
Yeah, I do think that the Usos are going to Raw, because they have been on SmackDown for quite some time. So I do think they make. Yeah, I do think that by them losing the titles, I think they're going to Raw.
Yeah, there is a good chance for sure.
But have a good night. Thanks, man.
All right, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, and have a great night.
Yep.
All right. So, like I said, tomorrow's PW Unlimited Wednesday show is going to focus on the Superstar Shakeup a little bit, probably half the show or so. Talk about what guys I think could be moving around, who I think could be placed where, maybe coming up from NXT. We'll see where it goes. If anybody else does want to call in or give their predictions for the Superstar Shakeup or something, you can do so at 559-475-8473. 559-475-8473. Also, let me look something up really fast. I want to warn you guys. Give me 2 seconds here. Because we may also have for tomorrow. What is... Okay, give me 1 second. I got to look something up, guys. I'll take this call while I look this up. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Pretty good, yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I have a question.
Go for it.
So, like, what do you think was the best match at WrestleMania?
At WrestleMania, Kofi Bryan.
Yes. Yeah, I agree, because Kofi was hit with a bunch of running knees, and he kicked out, and that stole the show.
I just feel like not even just, he kicked out of a bunch of running knees. I think overall, a wrestling match is supposed to not only get you, interested in wanting to see the whole match and be like, keep your attention, but at the same time, tell a story. And that match told a story. It was that, Kofi has overcome all the adversity and beat all the odds, but Daniel Bryan was still really, giving it to Kofi. Still a little more of the aggressor in that match, and Kofi would kept getting beat down, but Kofi never gave up. The story of the match was Kofi looked like he was down multiple times, but never gave up until the end when he finally hit Bryan with that last big move and got him. So I loved the story of, Bryan's the A+ player. He's the aggressor of the match. He's doing everything he can to keep Kofi down, but Kofi's that little engine that just kept coming back. Great story.
Okay.
That it?
And, yeah, that's it.
All right. Thanks for the call, and have a great night.
You too.
All right, so, warning. Tomorrow night, NXT TV tapings. So we will also be talking about the NXT TV tapings on tomorrow night's show, which will tie into the Superstar Shakeup possibly as far as who could be coming up from NXT based off of who was not used at tomorrow night's TV tapings. So, we will be having spoilers on tomorrow's podcast, and depending on what happens at the NXT tapings, spoilers may have to be early in the show. I know typically I keep the spoilers to the end of the show, but if there's anything that happens spoiler-wise at the NXT tapings tomorrow night that could play into my shake-up predictions, I may have to do the spoilers early. So just a forewarning, I will let you guys know before I go into spoiler territory. So we will be talking Superstar Shakeup and NXT spoilers tomorrow night on the PW Unlimited Wednesday show. But let's take another call. Caller on the air, what's going on?
Hey, Tim, how's it going?
Pretty good, yourself?
Good, thank you. Question. So now with Lars debuting, do you think they keep him and Strowman on the same brand? Because I feel like they'll separate them so one doesn't beat the other one.
I hope they keep them separated. I hope they keep them separated for one simple fact. Sullivan is not as big as you think. I've seen him live in person, and he's not as tall as you really think. So if he were to be on the same brand as Braun, and they one day cross paths on, say, both on Raw, Braun will actually make him look a little small. And you want him to be this just big, beastie kind of guy. I would say whatever brand Braun is not on is where Lars needs to be. So if Braun stays on Raw, put him on SmackDown. SmackDown would also be better for him anyways to look like a big guy because a lot of the smaller guys are on SmackDown.
Yeah, I feel like after seeing Braun today, I feel like he's gonna be on SmackDown and Lars is gonna be on Raw.
Now, just because we saw guys on Raw from SmackDown last night, guys from or this night, and guys from SmackDown on Raw last night, doesn't mean anything. It could be a tease and foreshadowing, but it's not like, oh, the New Day were on Raw last night, they're moving to Raw next week. I don't think one thing could, but I don't think one's going to lead to the other for all of it.
Because on Raw, Braun Strowman who's he gonna feud with? On SmackDown, he can feud with Samoa Joe, which is perfect feud for both of them.
Hey, for all we know, they switch the IC and the U.S. champion, and Joe comes to Raw. I would prefer to.
Do that.
I would prefer to see Finn on SmackDown anyways. So why not switch those champions? Make it a tradition. They've done it the last 3 years. They've switched the U.S. and the IC champion. So make it a tradition. It would kind of kill the surprise aspect of it, but why not?
Yeah, it's been going on just like you said for the past 3 years or so. So I think that's going to continue on. And just one more thing. I feel like the whole Dean Ambrose, he's going to come back, especially now that they acknowledge that Renee is his wife.
But they've been doing that for a while. I mean, Corey Graves would bring it up all the time when she first became an announcer. He would say, hey, that's your husband, or da-da-da. And she's like, we don't talk about that. We're professional. So they've been talking about them being married since she started as an announcer.
But what's your opinion on that? Do you think he'll come back?
No, I think he's done. He's going to leave the WWE, and he's going to go out and work the indies. Whether he signs with AEW or not, who knows? But I think he's done with WWE, at least for now, and wants to go broaden his horizon and see what's on the other side.
Because but the thing is, there has never been a superstar where they've actually announced, like, on TV or public that he's not going to resign. I just feel like all this is with how everything is nowadays with AEW coming. I just feel like all this is this a work?
No. I can say with 99% freaking, what's the word I'm looking for? 99%, what's the word I'm looking for? Certainty. He's leaving. He's done. Last night was his last night on Raw. They did a big send-off after Raw, and WWE acknowledged it, so I think he's done.
All right.
I mean, I've heard he hasn't been happy for at least 6 months, if not longer.
But if he wasn't happy, I mean, I'm sure he would have just said, I'm done. He would have. I know he has a contract, of course.
He's not the type. No, Dean Ambrose is not the type of guy. He's not a Neville who's going to say, I don't like this, I'm going to go home. He's the kind of guy that he will finish his commitments. If he's committed to somebody or a company or something, he is the type of guy that will say, okay, I'm going to leave, but I will finish my commitments. And that's what he's doing. He told them around Rumble, I'm done. I don't want to re-sign. I don't want a new contract, but I will stay till the end of my contract or until you guys tell me that you're not going to use me anymore. That's the kind of guy that Ambrose is.
I just know, like, I watched from his first match to yesterday, the last one. He was a great superstar for the WWE. I'm going to miss him.
Always. He's always been great. He's one of the hardest workers they have.
Yeah. All right, man. Thank you for taking my call.
All right, thanks for the call and have a great night. All right, let's move on and take another call here. And caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim. Thanks for taking my call. How do you like the show?
Smackdown, I thought it was a good show. Flowed very well.
I just have 2 questions. Is that
Go for it.
So my first question is, I don't know who you have in mind for Seth Rollins for challenger, but I was thinking same thing. How do you think about that?
Harden, I can barely hear you. Say it again.
Sorry. I was thinking Sami Zayn for Seth Rollins' first challenger.
I don't know. I don't think the fans would really go for that as far as Sami Zayn being a world title challenger. Especially coming back right now. I don't think it would get over. I think the fans would not care about it. And then you've got your main feud where the fans just honestly don't care. And I don't think that's what WWE wants to go for.
Now tonight when you had Raw superstars showing up. Does that mean that like previewing like people that are showing up, or
I don't think it's previewing anything. I think it's a fact that everybody was in the same town. We knew that everybody was in town, so it was like, well, if they're there, then it makes sense why they could have showed up.
All right, and my last question is, are you gonna make a video of who you want to be like on Raw, SmackDown for Superstar Shakeup?
Well,
I'd like to see that.
As I stated earlier, tomorrow's podcast, the Wednesday show, will primarily focus on that. At least half of the show will focus on Superstar Shakeup predictions and whatnot.
All right, I'll be watching. Thanks.
All right, thank you for the call and have a great night. All right, so with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. I want to say thank you to everybody who called in, everybody that watched live, everybody who watched later here on YouTube or listened over on iTunes, because you can find this show on iTunes if you really want to. We will be live tomorrow with the PW Unlimited Wednesday show. We will be talking Superstar Shakeup and NXT spoilers. So forewarned, tomorrow's show will have spoilers from NXT. This is they're calling it new era of NXT. You've got Johnny Gargano now as the champion, Velveteen Dream's the North American champion, and I wonder who gets the call up from developmental, like from the PC. Who's new that we're going to see tomorrow? I would expect Kushida makes his debut tomorrow at the NXT TV tapings, but who else could we see? So again, tomorrow we will be talking NXT spoilers and the Superstar Shakeup. We will have a new episode of PW Daily